It was one of those mornings where everything feels slightly off-kilter, like the world is running just a few seconds faster than you are. The autumn air had that particular crispness to it, the kind that makes your cheeks flush and your breath visible in little puffs as you hurry across campus. I remember checking my watch for what must have been the fifth time in as many minutes, mentally calculating if I could still make it to the shuttle stop before the 8:15 departure. My name is Jamie, by the way, and punctuality has always been my thing, until that particular Tuesday morning when my meticulously planned routine decided to unravel. The night before, I'd been up late finishing a paper for my comparative literature class. It wasn't due for another 3 days, but I've never been one to leave things to the last minute. That's just not who I am. I'm the person with color-coded planners and reminder apps that ping with irritating frequency. So when my alarm blared at 6:30 a.m. and I somehow managed to hit snooze not once, but 3 times, I was already operating in unfamiliar territory. By the time I finally dragged myself out of bed, the glowing numbers on my clock read 7:42, and panic set in like a cold wave. Let me explain why this matters. The campus shuttle isn't just a convenience at our university. It's practically a lifeline. Our campus sprawls across nearly 2 miles of hilly terrain, and the main academic buildings are clustered at the far north end, a good 30-minute walk from the student apartments where I live. In winter months, that walk becomes a frigid journey that no amount of layering can make pleasant. The shuttle system runs every 20 minutes during peak hours, but the 8:15 was the last one that would get me to my 9 a.m. advanced statistics lecture with Professor Hargrove, who locks the door precisely at 9:01 with a smug satisfaction that makes me question his joy in life. So there I was, hair still damp from the world's fastest shower, a piece of toast clenched between my teeth as I struggled to zip up my backpack while simultaneously shoving my feet into sneakers. I barely registered the soft knock at my door until it came again, more insistent this time. When I yanked it open, toast crumbs cascading down my sweater, I found Alex leaning against the doorframe, looking frustratingly put together despite the early hour. "Morning, sunshine," Alex said with that easy grin that somehow never seemed forced. "Ready to make a run for it? Shuttles in 7 minutes. That's Alex for you. Always showing up right when you need someone, with that uncanny ability to make chaos feel manageable. We weren't exactly friends, more like friendly acquaintances who shared a statistics class and occasionally nodded to each other in the campus coffee shop. Alex lived 3 doors down from me in the Westview apartments, and we'd fallen into the habit of walking to the shuttle stop together when our schedules aligned. It was a comfortable arrangement, no pressure for deep conversation at ungodly hours, just the silent solidarity of 2 people trying to navigate the same daily hurdles. "I'm running so late," I mumbled, grabbing my keys and nearly dropping them in my haste. "I don't know what happened this morning." Alex just laughed, taking my backpack from me as I locked my door. "Life happened. Come on, we can still make it if we hurry." The walk to the shuttle stop usually takes about 5 minutes at a normal pace, but that morning we practically jogged, dodging other sleepy students and the occasional squirrel. The campus was coming alive around us, windows lighting up in dormitories, the distant sound of music from someone's open window, the smell of coffee wafting from the campus center. There's something intimate about experiencing a university campus as it wakes up before it puts on its daytime face. It's like being privy to a secret, watching the world assemble itself piece by piece. We rounded the corner to the shuttle stop, and my heart sank. The small gathering of students who normally waited there was conspicuously absent, and the telltale cloud of exhaust that lingered after a departure was still dissipating in the morning air. We'd missed it, by what couldn't have been more than a minute or 2, but missed it nonetheless. "No, no, no," I groaned, checking my watch again as if that might somehow turn back time. "It can't be gone already. It's only—" I stopped, realizing with a sinking feeling that my watch was running slow. Of course it was. Because why would anything go right on this particular morning? Alex stood beside me, hands in pockets, surveying the empty shuttle stop with a thoughtful expression. I expected commiseration, maybe a shared sigh of frustration. What I didn't expect was for Alex to pull out a phone, tap the screen a few times, and then look up with that same easy smile. "Well, looks like we've got 2 options," Alex said, holding up the phone to show me the campus transportation app. "We can wait 20 minutes for the next shuttle, and be spectacularly late for Hargrove's class. Or there was a pause, and something shifted in Alex's expression, a flicker of mischief, maybe, or something else I couldn't quite read. Or what? I asked, already dreading whatever alternative might be coming. My mind raced through increasingly desperate scenarios. Calling an Uber, too expensive, running the entire way, too sweaty, or emailing Professor Hargrove with some elaborate excuse, too dishonest. And that's when Alex did something that would change the course of not just that morning, but many mornings to come. With a decisive tap, Alex hit cancel on the app's notify me when the next shuttle arrives option, pocketed the phone, and held out a hand to me. Where we walk, Alex said simply. It's a beautiful morning. We've got 50 minutes until class starts. The campus is gorgeous this time of year with all the leaves changing. And honestly, I could use the exercise after that pizza binge last night. I stared at the outstretched hand, then at Alex's face, searching for signs that this was a joke. Walking to North Campus wasn't just a casual stroll. It was a commitment, especially with backpacks full of textbooks and laptops. And yet, there was something appealing about the idea, something that tugged at a part of me I usually kept carefully contained. The part that occasionally wondered what would happen if I loosened my grip on my carefully structured life. We'll be all sweaty by the time we get there, I protested weakly, even as I found myself considering the possibility. Alex laughed. It's like 55 degrees out, Jamie. Unless you're planning to sprint the whole way, I think we'll be fine. Besides, have you ever actually walked the campus trail? There's a shortcut through the Arboretum that's absolutely worth seeing. I hesitated, looking down at Alex's still extended hand. There was something significant about this moment, something that felt like a choice between more than just transportation options. And perhaps that's why, despite every instinct telling me to wait for the next shuttle like a sensible person, I found myself reaching out and taking Alex's hand. Okay, I said, surprising myself with how right the decision felt. Let's walk. Alex's fingers closed around mine, warm and reassuring, and just like that, we set off toward campus. It wasn't until we'd gone about 20 steps that I realized we were still holding hands, and by then it somehow seemed more awkward to let go than to continue. So I didn't, and neither did Alex. The morning sun filtered through the trees as we made our way along the path that wound around the edge of campus. Alex hadn't been exaggerating about the beauty of it all. The maple trees were ablaze with reds and oranges, and the air had that particular autumn scent of earth and leaves and possibility. We walked in comfortable silence for a while, our footsteps falling into a synchronized rhythm. So, Alex finally said, giving my hand a gentle squeeze. Tell me something I don't know about you, Jamie. I laughed nervously. That's a pretty open-ended request. I don't even know where to start. Start anywhere, Alex suggested. What's your major? Where are you from? What's your deepest, darkest secret? This last question was delivered with such theatrical gravity that I couldn't help but laugh. Applied mathematics with a minor in comparative literature, I replied. I'm from a tiny town in Vermont that no one's ever heard of. And my deepest, darkest secret is that I sometimes eat peanut butter straight from the jar at 2 a.m. while watching reality TV cooking shows. Alex gasped in mock horror. Not reality TV cooking shows. I don't know if I can be seen with you now. And just like that, the ice was broken. We continued our walk, trading stories about hometowns and childhoods, favorite books, and worst professors. I learned that Alex was a double major in environmental science and studio art, had grown up in Chicago with 3 older sisters, and could recite the entirety of The Princess Bride from memory. I found myself sharing things I rarely talked about. My dream of eventually getting a PhD, my complicated relationship with my parents who didn't understand why I wouldn't just come home and take over the family accounting business, my secret love of writing poetry that I never showed anyone. As we walked, the campus revealed itself to us in ways I'd never noticed before. Alex pointed out details I'd missed despite passing them every day. A small sculpture hidden among bushes near the library, a bench with hundreds of tiny inscriptions from graduating seniors, a spot where the morning light hit the old clock tower in just the right way to make it glow like it was lit from within. How do you notice all these things? I asked, genuinely curious. I've been here for 3 years and never seen half of what you've shown me in the last 20 minutes. Alex's expression turned thoughtful. I think it's about being present. Most people move through spaces thinking about where they're going, or what they're late for. They don't take time to actually see what's around them. There was a pause, and then Alex added more softly, I've always thought you can learn a lot about a place by paying attention to the details everyone else misses. We had reached the Arboretum by then, and Alex led me off the main path onto a narrower trail that wound through a collection of flowering trees and carefully tended gardens. It was quieter here, more secluded, and I found myself acutely aware of Alex's hand still holding mine, the occasional brush of our shoulders as we navigated the path. "This is the shortcut?" I asked, trying to orient myself. I didn't even know this was here. "Best kept secret on campus," Alex confirmed with a nod. "Cuts about 7 minutes off the walk, plus it's beautiful. The botany department maintains it, but most students never venture in here. Their loss." We emerged from the Arboretum onto a small hill that overlooked the northern part of campus. From this vantage point, we could see the academic buildings clustered together, students streaming in and out like ants on a mission. The morning sun cast long shadows across the quad, and for a moment, we both stood in silence, taking in the view. "We should probably keep moving if we want to make it to class on time," I said eventually, though part of me wanted to stay in this moment, on this hill, with Alex's hand in mine. "Probably," Alex agreed, but made no move to continue walking. Instead, Alex turned to face me, our joined hands hanging between us like a question neither of us had asked yet. "Can I tell you something, Jamie?" My heart did a strange little flip in my chest. "Of course. I've wanted to talk to you, really talk to you, not just exchange pleasantries about statistics homework, since the first day of semester." Alex's voice was steady, but I could see a vulnerability in those eyes that made my breath catch. "I've been taking the 8:15 shuttle for weeks now, even though my first class isn't until 10, just because I knew that's when you usually go to campus." I blinked, trying to process this information. "You've been waking up early for me?" Alex laughed softly. "Sounds kind of stalkerish when you put it that way. But yes, I guess I have. There's just something about you, Jamie. The way you're always so focused, so determined. The way you furrow your brow when you're working on a particularly difficult problem in class. The way you always have color-coded notes and 3 different highlighters. Those are the things you noticed about me?" I asked, surprised. "My highlighters? Among other things," Alex said with a smile. "Like how you always leave a cup of coffee for the homeless man who sits outside the library. Or how you helped Marissa catch up on the coursework when she was out with mono for 2 weeks. Or how your whole face lights up when you talk about mathematics. Which, by the way, I've never seen anyone get so excited about derivatives before." I felt my cheeks flush with heat. "I didn't realize you were paying such close attention." "I was," Alex said simply. "I am." And then, standing there on that hill with the campus spread out below us and the autumn sun warming our faces, Alex leaned forward and kissed me. It was gentle, questioning, a kiss that asked permission even as it was happening. And without thinking, I kissed back, my free hand coming up to rest on Alex's shoulder. When we finally pulled apart, I felt slightly dazed, as if the world had shifted on its axis while I wasn't looking. "I wasn't expecting that," I managed to say. Alex's smile was soft, a little uncertain. "Was it okay?" "More than okay," I assured quickly. "Just unexpected. In the best possible way." We stood there for another moment, foreheads almost touching, before Alex glanced at a watch and grimaced. "We have exactly 12 minutes to get to the North Academic Building if we don't want to face Hargrove's wrath." Reality came rushing back, and I groaned. "We're never going to make it." "Not with that attitude," Alex said, tugging on my hand. "Come on, I know another shortcut." And so we ran, hand in hand, laughing as we dodged other students and took turns that I never would have chosen on my own. We burst through the doors of the North Academic Building with 3 minutes to spare, both of us breathless and disheveled but triumphant. "See," Alex said between breaths. "Told you we'd make it." I shook my head, still trying to catch my breath. "You're something else, you know that?" "So I've been told." Alex's expression turned more serious. "Listen, would you maybe want to get coffee after class? Or lunch? Or anything, really. I just want to spend more time with you." The old Jamie would have consulted a planner, considered the impact on my study schedule, probably made an excuse about needing to get to the library. But standing there, looking at Alex's hopeful expression, I found I didn't want to be the old Jamie anymore. "I'd love that," I said, and was rewarded with a smile that made my heart do that strange flip again. We parted ways at the classroom door, our hands reluctantly separating. As I took my usual seat near the front, I couldn't help but glance back to where Alex sat by the window. Our eyes met, and Alex mouthed, "Worth it," with a grin that made me have to turn around quickly before Professor Hargrove noticed my blush. As the lecture began, I found myself struggling to focus on statistical models and probability distributions. My mind kept wandering back to the feel of Alex's hand in mine, the kiss on the hill, the way the morning had unfolded in ways I never could have predicted. For someone who had always found comfort in plans and schedules, in knowing exactly what came next, the uncertainty should have been terrifying. Instead, it felt like freedom. When class ended, I gathered my things slowly, watching as Alex navigated through the rows of desks toward me. And as we walked out together into the bright morning, I couldn't help but think that missing the shuttle was the best thing that had ever happened to me. Sometimes, it takes a disruption to your carefully constructed routine to realize that what you really needed was never in the plan to begin with. And later, when people would ask how we got together, we'd share a smile and say, "We missed the shuttle to campus." And then he hit cancel and took my hand. It wasn't the most dramatic of love stories, perhaps, but it was ours. And like the best journeys, it began with a single step down an unexpected path, hand in hand with someone who saw the world, and me, in ways I never had before. Total _char_count, 18,729.